Hi INFJs and autistic INFJs, welcome back to my channel. I spent years trying to feel good enough. I did all the confidence building, I did affirmations till the cows came home, I did the whole fake it till you make it act. I did it all. You name it, I did it, but it felt like nothing worked. Until I stopped trying. The most common advice for overcoming inadequacy doesn't work for INFJs and autistic INFJs. In fact, if you've tried following the common advice like I did, you might have even found that it made things worse. Did it make you feel much worse? For me, it did. I felt much worse about myself. So if you've ever felt like no matter what you do, you still do not feel good enough, then I invite you to keep watching because today I'm going to share with you exactly why that happens and what I actually did to make a difference for me. This is video 2 in my series, Breaking Free from Inadequacy for INFJs and Autistic INFJs. The first video I shared why I always felt inadequate, or how I always felt inadequate. I shared a lot of life stories. It was a very hard video because I had to get very vulnerable, and INFJs, we don't like doing that. And I shared why this happens for INFJs and autistic INFJs, why we struggle with inadequacy. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad that you found it. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm grateful for all my viewers. I hope you find my channel helpful. If we haven't met before, my name's Trina. I'm an INFJ and I'm also autistic. I created this channel because I wanted to help people like myself. I wanted a place where I could build a community, where I could help people like myself feel safe and help them heal their self-love and get to a level of self-acceptance. So that's why I built this channel. I hope you find it helpful. If you haven't yet, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate the support. Also, before we get going, March's INFJ meet and greet. Registration is still open. There's 2 dates to accommodate different time zones. So if you want to meet up with other INFJs, get to know other people like yourself, where you're not feeling judged, where you don't feel like the weirdest duck in the room, this is the place to go. INFJs can be difficult to meet in person. I know I went until well into my 40s before I actually physically met another INFJ. So I decided to create this virtual space where we can all just come together and mingle and have fun. It's relaxed, it's casual, no worries. If you want more information on this, the link is in the description of this video. It's INFJ meet and greet, virtual meet and greet. Okay, let's get into this. Why nothing I tried worked. That sounds like a really bad mindset to have, but it's the truth. It really made things much worse. Most advice assumes that we can think our way into confidence. But for INFJs and autistic INFJs, we need a different approach. Sadly, that just doesn't work for us. Common advice is just be confident. Have you been told that? Oh, just be confident. Just grab, it's like you can just open the cupboard and grab your confidence and put it on like a hat and away you go. And maybe for some people that works. It doesn't work for us. Or fake it till you make it. They make it sound so easy, but it's not, is it at all, if you've tried it. If you've ever tried to stop overthinking, because that's another one. Oh, just stop overthinking and do it. So if you've ever tried to stop overthinking, good luck with that. Then we just come down on ourselves, especially if we're overthinking about being confident, right? So then for me, what would happen is I'd just come down on myself because we can't get that right either. And then we start questioning our capabilities because this seems so darn hard, but it sounds so easy when people would just tell you that, right? Oh, just fake it till you make it. Just grab your confidence and away you go. Stop overthinking. It's not that big of a deal. Good luck with that. If you've ever been inside an INFJ head, you know that overthinking is very difficult to just stop on a whim. Very difficult. We're really, really good at it. Why does this not work for us? This is interesting. This is something that I had to do research on when I was working on this myself, because I'm like, okay, what's wrong with me now? Why is this not working? Why is this not working for us? So as INFJs and autistic INFJs, we feel deeply. We are just naturally built this way. There is no turn-off switch for our self-perception at all. I mean, I wish there was, but there isn't. We don't just think we are inadequate. That's not where this comes from. We don't just think it. We have had years of experiences, of stories other people have planted into our heads about us that reinforce all these beliefs about us, right? So when somebody says to us, oh, well, just grab your confidence and you'll feel better about yourself, just believe that you're confident. And then they'll say, okay, well, why don't you believe that you're confident? Well, we'll come up with all these stories and they'll say, well, where's the evidence? And to us, well, the evidence was just what I shared with you of what I've been told my entire life. Here's the evidence, right? That's what would go on in my head. So there's that. Faking it makes us feel more disconnected with ourselves. So if you've ever done the whole fake it till you make it, which I did, it really causes a massive disconnect with ourselves. Plus, we feel it's a lie, which causes inner turmoil, and our subconscious triggers that inner voice that will chant all those nasty things. Oh, now you're lying. You're an imposter. People are going to see right through you. You're failing at this. You know that inner voice. We all have it. Mine's really nasty when I let it go unsupervised. Anyway, this causes us to feel much less confident. It doesn't help at all when that all starts going on. So fake it till you make it doesn't work for us at all. Causes much turmoil. I don't advise that. When I tried to force myself to be more confident, to fake it, I felt horrible. It triggered my social anxiety big time. I became very socially awkward, right? So an example was, say I wanted to, I really struggle with school settings, like going to pick up my son or having to like volunteer at the school and have to be around like the other parents. This is a huge struggle for me. So I decided once that, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to be all confident and we're going to, put on my confidence hat. Now I've got my confidence and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to mingle with the parents. I'm not going to be weird. This is going to be good. I'm going to feel equal to them. It was crash and burn all around. I felt socially awkward. I was socially awkward because it just triggered so much going on inside of me, my social anxiety. I was having like massive anxiety, panic attacks, socially awkward. I felt very perceived. And I just really wanted to run and hide. And that's actually what ended up happening. I isolated big time and I beat myself up verbally for weeks, maybe even months, again and again. It was horrible. The hard truth is we can't just think our way out of inadequacy. And again, I wish that it was that easy. We have to approach it differently. The game-changing shift. Self-trust, not confidence. Confidence isn't what we need. You see, confidence isn't a constant for people in general, not just for INFJs, it's for people in general. Confidence comes in waves. Sometimes you have it and sometimes you don't. You can ask the most successful person in the world, as long as they're not a narcissist, because if they're a narcissist, they're going to say that they always have it, but they're actually probably not telling you the truth. Anyway, that's just between you and I. But if you ask the most successful person in the world, do you feel confident all the time? If they're going to answer you honestly, they're going to say no. No. There's lots of times I don't feel confident, but I just do it anyway, right? So it comes in waves. It comes in waves. That's just humans. So what happens when it's not there? When we don't have it to lean on? When they say, well, just get your confidence and you're going to feel more adequate. Okay, well, what happens when the wave of confidence isn't waving in right at the moment? We don't have it, so then we just feel inadequate again? It's a thought, isn't it? I lost where I was going with this. We become inadequate again. What we need is self-trust. We need to build self-trust. Confidence is outward facing. It's about how others perceive us. Well, how others perceive us is a raw subject for INFJs and autistic INFJs because, especially if we're autistic, because we feel very negatively perceived. Negatively perceived, words are difficult today, most of the time, right? Do you agree with that? If you're an INFJ and if you're an autistic INFJ, do you agree with that? Most of the time, do you feel negatively perceived? Even if maybe we're not being negatively perceived, that's how it feels. And there's reasons behind that. It's not just in our head. Well, it kind of is because it's how our brain is wired, but that's a video for another time because it's quite interesting. I did a YouTube short on that subject actually, and it has to do with school pickups and how they're difficult because we overthink everything. Anyway, that's a video for another time. I'm getting sidetracked here. So confidence is outward facing. So we feel negatively perceived all the time. So that's a raw subject. That's why it's not going to work for us. This is not helpful. Self-trust is internal. It's about knowing that we can handle whatever happens. And that's something that we can build. That is in our control, completely in our control. So instead of trying to be confident, I started asking myself, do I trust myself? Even if no one understands me? Can I let myself exist the way I am without constantly trying to fix myself? Those were two key questions I asked myself. And those two key questions I worked on to build self-trust. Okay? So, do I trust myself even if no one else understands me? And can I let myself exist the way I am without constantly trying to fix myself? An example of this in my life is I stopped obsessing over whether I was doing life right, and I started focusing on whether I felt aligned with myself. Does my lifestyle, my choices, does it make me feel good about myself? Yes, if it does, then I would ask myself, am I hurting anyone? Because that was important to me. I struggled with the belief that living for myself, doing things for myself is very selfish. So I had to throw that in there. Am I hurting anyone? The answer would be no. And the reason why is because I'm feeling better, which resulted in me showing up better for everybody I loved. I could be better for them. So no, I wasn't hurting anybody when I was living a life that felt better for me, even if it didn't match up with everybody else's idea of what the perfect life should be. I didn't need confidence. I needed to stop waiting for permission to be who I already was. That was key. So how do we start letting go of this inadequacy? How do we start this shift? Instead of trying to be better, we want to shift to accepting the truth. We were never broken. You were never broken. Accept that truth. You were never broken. Even though I know from experience, I know it feels like it. That we were broken, that we were wrong, that we didn't belong here, that something malfunctioned when we were being created in our mother's stomach. That's what it feels like, but that's not the truth. We were never broken. Number one, we got to stop comparing our path to others. This is huge. Probably, if you only take one thing away today, take this away. Stop comparing our path to everybody else's path. INFJs and autistic INFJs live a non-linear life. Our path is non-linear. It is not straight. It is all twisted and humps and bumps and swirls and switchbacks, and there's probably random music playing all over the place. I know it is for me, and that's just our life. That's our life path. That's what it was supposed to be. We grow deep, slow transformations. We don't grow in quick, measurable steps. That is just not how it happens for us. Everything is very slow and deep, and it's full of transformations. That's what it's supposed to be. It takes me forever to do things. I have a list of things I want to do. Like, I'm a writer, I write books. I can't. I watched an interview with Stephen King because I absolutely love watching interviews with him. I find him a very fascinating fellow. And he can pound out a book in 3 months. Have it completely proofread and edited. He says it's quite clean, very few errors in 3 months. And his books are quite long. They're not just little short reads. And I was like blown away from that. It takes me forever. I could not do that because I work much slower, and INFJs do this. This is how we do. Everything is slow because there's so many twists and turns, and that's just how it goes. Number 2, how do we stop letting go of inadequacy? As an INFJ, stop trying to be good enough for a world that was never designed for you. I say this quite often. The goal isn't to fit in. That is not our goal. The goal is to build a life that works for you. The goal is to enjoy life with all the experiences that work for you. If we aren't living a life that is built for us, the experiences that we're experiencing are not for us. We cannot enjoy them. I truly believe that that is the purpose, is we are here to have all these experiences and help each other grow. But if the experiences are not for us, we can't enjoy them. It's just going to make us question our abilities, our confidence. Nope, that's not the word I'm looking for. It's going to make us question our worth. It's going to make us question our competence. That was the word I was looking for. If the experiences aren't for us, if they're not for us because we're living a life that's not made for us, we're missing out on what is. Number 3, let go of the idea that success equals external validation. It doesn't. So many of us hang on to that external validation. We need it. We don't need it. We don't need it at all. It's a secret. We don't need external validation. I was one. I thought that that's what we needed. That's what success was, is, getting validated from everybody else. That's not what it is. Success looks very different for us. It's about fulfillment, not performance. If something feels right for you, that's enough. You don't need to work to confirm it. Did that make sense? You don't need the work to confirm it. That's the word I was looking for. I started living without expectations. So I found for me, expectations often came with external validation. So I would have all these expectations, but when I looked at them, I'm like, all these expectations, in order for them to be fulfilled, I need all this external validation. Well, that's completely out of my control. And I'm one that really mindfully lives with keeping in mind, what is it that I can control and what can I not control? And I let go of those things that I cannot control. And that was one. External validation, we can't control it. My only thought is, when I venture out to do something, when I'm planning my life, when I'm making a decision, is this going to bring me, what experiences is this going to bring me? Am I going to learn from it? What am I going to take away? Am I going to be able to impact somebody in a positive way? These are the questions that I ask myself. From there, I move into, how can I use this? How can I use this for the good? Maybe it's for the good of my family. Maybe it's for the good of my viewers. Maybe it's just for the good of me. Maybe it's for the good of my dogs. Maybe it's for the good of the earth. How am I going to use this for the good? Because that's what fulfills me as an INFJ. It may not work for you, but you got to figure out what your values are and align all of it to your values. So what's going to feel good and align with you so that you can get your fulfillment. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone at all. You don't have to fix yourself to be worthy. You just need to start trusting yourself enough to exist as you are. That's all you need to do. Do you struggle with trusting yourself? I'm curious. Drop in the comments because I want to hear your thoughts on it. If you struggle with self-trust, because a lot of us tend to. I did. It was a lot of work, but I did the work. And I do believe that that's not a destination. Self-trust is not a destination. It is a journey that we continually build on. So if you're thinking of self-trust as a destination, shift it to thinking of it as a journey that we're constantly building on. It makes it seem less daunting. Self-trust, being able to trust myself, was very daunting for me. It was very scary because I didn't think that I was good enough to be able to trust myself. So, it did open up a whole new can of worms. So I am curious about your thoughts around self-trust. If this resonated with you, then stay tuned for video 3 of my series, Breaking Free from Inadequacy. In video 3, I'm going to talk about why INFJs and autistic INFJs can't follow a normal life path. Thanks for joining me. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you're interested in the INFJ meet and greet, the virtual meet and greet, 2 dates, link is in the description of this video. Please feel free to share this video. The more times it's shared, the more INFJs we get to help. And I invite you to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon again. Bye for now.